Without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. You are tired of the arguments that go nowhere, the sales that don't close, and the feeling that, despite your best logic, you just can't get people to see things your way. You want to know how the masters do it. You want to know how the most powerful leaders in history could walk into a room, say a few words, and have men ready to die for them. Well, you are in the right place, and I am going to make you a promise right now. If you stay with me until the very last second of this video, I am going to hand you the keys to the castle. I am not just going to give you some fluffy, be nice to people advice. I am going to break down the cold, hard psychology that dictates human behavior. I am going to show you the exact operating system that runs every person you will ever meet. And here is the kicker, the thing that nobody tells you. You think success in life, in business, or in relationships is about being the smartest person in the room. You think it is about having 85% technical knowledge and maybe 15% personality. You are dead wrong. Research conducted by the Carnegie Institute of Technology revealed the exact opposite. About 15% of your financial success is due to your technical knowledge. The other 85%, that is human engineering. That is the ability to lead people. But there is a twist, a gap between what you think works and what actually works. You probably think the way to change someone's mind is to prove them wrong, to show them the facts, to criticize their mistakes so they can improve. I am going to tell you right now, that is the fastest way to destroy your influence. There is a secret technique, one that Abraham Lincoln learned the hard way, that will completely flip the script on how you interact with the world. It is not about manipulation. It is about biology. It is about a hunger so deep inside the human brain that people will actually go insane just to satisfy it. And once you know how to feed that hunger, you will never walk a lonely way again. Let's get into the mind of a killer to understand why you are failing. On May 7, 1931, the streets of New York City witnessed something out of a movie, but this was Hollywood. This was real, gritty, bloody life. 150 policemen and detectives had surrounded a top-floor apartment on West End Avenue. They had machine guns mounted on the surrounding buildings. They were chopping holes in the roof, pouring tear gas into the ventilation. For an hour, the upscale neighborhood sounded like a war zone. Rat-tat-tat. Pistol fire, screams. They were hunting a man named Two-Gun Crowley. Crowley was a cop killer, a desperado, a man who, according to the police commissioner, would kill at the drop of a feather. He was trapped. He was bleeding. He was crouching behind an overstuffed chair, firing incessantly at the law. Now, pause for a second. I want you to imagine what was going through Crowley's mind in those final, desperate moments. You probably think he was thinking, I am a bad man. I have done terrible things. I deserve this. But while the bullets were flying and the gas was choking him, Crowley was writing a letter. As he wrote it, the blood from his wounds actually left a crimson trail on the paper. And what did this cold-blooded killer write? Did he confess his sins? Did he apologize? He wrote, "Under my coat is a weary heart, but a kind one that would do nobody any harm." Let that sink in. A short time before this siege, Crowley had been parked on a country road, necking with his girlfriend. A policeman tapped on the window and asked to see his license. Crowley didn't say a word. He drew his gun and emptied it into the officer. As the policeman lay dying on the ground, Crowley jumped out, grabbed the officer's own revolver, and fired another bullet into the body. And yet this man believed he had a kind heart that would do nobody any harm. When he was finally captured and sentenced to the electric chair at Sing Sing, he didn't say, "This is what I get for killing people." He said, "This is what I get for defending myself. Why am I telling you this violent story? What does a 1930s gangster have to do with you getting a promotion or fixing your marriage? Everything." Two-Gun, Crowley didn't blame himself for anything. And here is the brutal truth you need to accept if you want to master human relations. Neither does the person you are arguing with. You are dealing with a human animal that is hardwired to justify its own actions. Al Capone, public enemy number one, the man who turned Chicago into a shooting gallery, said, "I have spent the best years of my life giving people the lighter pleasures, helping them have a good time, and all I get is abuse, the existence of a hunted man." Al Capone thought he was a public benefactor. Dutch Schultz, another notorious gangster, thought the same thing. If these men, killers, criminals, sociopaths, could not see their own faults, do you really think the people in your life are going to say, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I am an idiot. Thank you for criticizing me"? No. This brings us to the first major gap in your strategy. You believe criticism works. You believe that if you point out the snow on your neighbor's roof, they will thank you for it. But criticism is a homing pigeon. It always flies back to the coop. When you criticize someone, you are not engaging their logic. You are attacking their pride. You are wounding their sense of importance. And when you wound a person's pride, they don't learn. They defend. They rationalize. They dig in. Even the greatest leader in American history almost lost everything because he didn't understand this. Abraham Lincoln. You picture Lincoln as the stoic, gentle giant, right? The man who said, "With malice toward none, with charity for all." But Lincoln wasn't always like that. As a young man in Indiana, Lincoln was arrogant. He used to write letters ridiculing people and drop them on country roads where he knew they would be found. He crushed people with his wit. One day, he messed with the wrong guy. He wrote an anonymous letter in a newspaper mocking a politician named James Shields. The town roared with laughter, but Shields wasn't laughing. He was a proud man. He found out Lincoln wrote it, leaped on his horse, tracked Lincoln down, and challenged him to a duel. Lincoln didn't want to fight. He was a pacifist at heart, but he was trapped by his own ego and the honor code of the time. He had to accept. On the day of the duel, they met on a sandbar in the Mississippi River. Lincoln, having long arms, chose cavalry broadswords. He was ready to fight for his life. At the very last second, their seconds jumped in and stopped it. That moment changed Lincoln forever. It terrified him. He realized that his sharp tongue almost cost him his life. From that day on, he almost never criticized anyone. But the real test, the test that defines the Lincoln secret, came years later during the Civil War. It was July 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg. General Robert E. Lee was retreating. The Potomac River was swollen with rain, trapping Lee's Confederate army. Lincoln saw it immediately. This was it, the golden opportunity. If the Union Army attacked now, the war would be over. Lincoln ordered his general, George Meade, to attack immediately. He telegraphed the order. He sent a messenger. "Attack Lee now. Do not wait." And what did General Meade do? He did the exact opposite. He hesitated. He called a council of war. He delayed. And while he dithered, the river waters receded and Lee escaped. Lincoln was furious. He cried out to his son, "Great God, what does this mean? We had them within our grasp." In his bitterness, Lincoln sat down and wrote a letter to General Meade. And remember, Lincoln was a master of words. This letter was a scorching rebuke. He wrote, "My dear General, I do not believe you appreciate the magnitude of the misfortune involved in Lee's escape. Your golden opportunity is gone, and I am distressed immeasurably because of it." Powerful, right? Direct, honest. But do you know what happened when Meade read that letter? Nothing. Because Meade never saw it. Lincoln never mailed it. They found it among his papers after he died. Why? Why didn't he send it? Because Lincoln knew the secret. He paused. He looked out the window of the White House and he thought, "It is easy for me to sit here in the quiet and order an attack. But if I had seen as much blood as Meade has seen this week, if I had heard the screams of the dying, maybe I wouldn't be so anxious to attack either." He knew that if he sent that letter, it would relieve his own feelings, sure, but it would destroy Meade. It would make Meade justify himself. It would breed resentment that would last a lifetime. It would turn a valuable ally into an enemy. So he swallowed his pride. He swallowed his criticism, and he kept his influence intact. Judge not that ye be not judged. But here is where you might be getting skeptical. You're thinking, okay, so I don't criticize, I just let people walk all over me. I just keep my mouth shut. No, that is the passive approach. We are not here to be passive. We are here to be powerful. If you strip away the criticism, you create a vacuum. You have stopped the negative, but you haven't started the positive. You need a driver. You need an engine to make people move. And that brings us to the second principle, the $1 billion secret. I want you to think about this. What is the one thing you crave more than anything else? It's not food. You can find food, it's not sleep. You can get sleep. Freud called it the desire to be great. John Dewey, the American philosopher, called it the desire to be important. This is the gnawing, unfaltering human hunger. It is the reason you wear the clothes you wear. It is the reason you drive the car you drive. It is the reason you want your children to be smart. It is the reason some people become gangsters, and it is the reason some people become philanthropists. It is a desire so strong that people will literally disconnect from reality to find it. I have spoken to head physicians at insane asylums. I asked them, why do people go insane? And do you know what they told me? In half the cases, there is a physical cause, brain lesions, toxins, alcohol, but the other half, the brain cells are healthy. People go insane because they cannot find a feeling of importance in the real world, so they retreat into a dream world where they can be important. I know of a woman whose marriage was a tragedy. Her husband didn't love her. She had no children, no social standing. Life crushed her, so she went insane. And in her insanity, she divorced her husband, resumed her maiden name, and imagined she had married into English aristocracy. She calls herself Lady Smith, and every night she imagines she has a new baby. Think about the tragic power of that. The hunger for importance is so deep that if reality denies it, the mind will shatter just to create it. Now, imagine if you, yes, sane, rational you, could give people that feeling of importance without them having to go crazy to get it. You would be a god among men. This is the secret of Charles Schwab. Back in the day, there were only 2 men in America paid a salary of $1 million a year. One was Walter Chrysler. The other was Charles Schwab. Why did Andrew Carnegie pay Schwab $1 million a year? Was Schwab a genius steelmaker? No. Schwab told me himself that he had many men working for him who knew more about steel than he did. Schwab was paid $1 million a year because of one thing, his ability to handle people. And here is his secret in his own words. I want you to memorize this. I want you to write it on your mirror. I consider my ability to arouse enthusiasm among the men the greatest asset I possess. And the way to develop the best that is in a man is by appreciation and encouragement. He continued, there is nothing else that so kills the ambitions of a man as criticisms from his superiors. I never criticize anyone. I believe in giving a man incentive to work. So I am anxious to praise but loath to find fault. That's it. That is the $1 million secret, but wait, I can hear you right now. Oh, I get it. Flattery, just tell people they are great. Soft soap, bare oil. Stop right there. Flattery is cheap. Flattery is counterfeit money. If you try to pass it, you will get caught. Flattery comes from the teeth out. Appreciation comes from the heart out. The difference is sincerity. General Obregon of Mexico had a saying carved below his bust. Don't be afraid of enemies who attack you. Be afraid of the friends who flatter you. We are not talking about tricks. We are talking about a fundamental shift in your focus. The average person, you, me, everyone, spends 95% of their time thinking about themselves. But if you stop thinking about yourself for just a moment and start thinking about the other person's good points, you won't have to resort to flattery. You will see things to genuinely admire. And when you speak that appreciation, when you feed that hunger for importance, people will cherish your words. They will repeat them for a lifetime. They will work harder for you, love you deeper, and follow you further than you ever imagined. But there is one final step. So far, we have stopped the bleeding by stopping criticism. We have built the foundation by giving appreciation. But how do you get someone to actually do something? How do you get the sale? How do you get the date? How do you get your kid to eat his vegetables? This is where most people fail. This is where they hit the wall. I go fishing up in Maine every summer. Now, personally, I love strawberries and cream. It's my favorite dessert. But when I go fishing, I don't bait my hook with strawberries and cream. Why? Because fish don't like strawberries. Fish like worms. It seems stupidly obvious, doesn't it? You don't dangle what you want in front of the fish. You dangle what the fish wants. So why, when you are trying to fish for men, do you talk about what you want? I want you to clean your room. I want you to buy this product. I want a raise. That is childish. That is absurd. Of course, you are interested in what you want. You are eternally interested in it, but nobody else is. The rest of us are just like you. We are interested in what we want. The only way on earth to influence the other fellow is to talk about what he wants and show him how to get it. Let me give you a rehook here, because this is the piece that changes everything. If you miss this, the first two steps don't matter. You can be the nicest, most appreciative person in the world, but if you don't align with their self-interest, you are just a nice doormat. Let's look at a story about Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great philosopher, right? A man of deep intellect. One day, Emerson and his son were trying to get a calf into the barn, and they made the common mistake. They were thinking only of what they wanted. Emerson pushed, his son pulled, but the calf was doing exactly what they were doing, thinking only of what he wanted. So he stiffened his legs and refused to move. The Irish housemaid saw their struggle. Now, she couldn't write essays like Emerson. She probably couldn't even read his books. But she had more calf sense than he did. She thought about what the calf wanted. She put her maternal finger in the calf's mouth and let the calf suck her finger as she gently led him into the barn. She gave him what he wanted. Every act you have ever performed since the day you were born was performed because you wanted something. Even when you give money to charity, you are doing it because you want the feeling of being unselfish. You want the feeling of helping. If you didn't want that feeling more than the money, you wouldn't give it. So tomorrow, when you want to persuade someone, pause. Do not rush in. Do not start talking about your needs. Ask yourself, how can I make this person want to do it? Henry Ford put it best. If there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from his angle as well as your own. Let me show you a real-world disaster so you can see what not to do. I have seen letters written by high-powered executives that are absolute trash because they violate this rule. Listen to this. A radio department manager wrote to station directors. He started with, "The company desires to retain its position in advertising agency leadership." Who cares? Who cares what your company desires? The station director is worried about his own mortgage, his own bugs in the hollyhocks, his own high blood pressure. The letter went on, "We desire to service our accounts with the last word on radio station information. We desire. It's all about him." Imagine if he had written, "You have a problem. You want to make your station more profitable. Here is how I can help you do that." Total game changer. I had a student, a father, who was worried about his little boy. The kid was underweight and refused to eat. The parents did the usual thing. They scolded. "Mother wants you to eat this. Father wants you to grow up big." Did the boy care? Does a 3-year-old care about the viewpoint of a 30-year-old father? No more than you care about a speck of sand on the beach. So the father stopped. He asked, "What does the boy want?" Well, the boy had a tricycle, and a bully down the street kept pushing him off and taking it. The little boy wanted revenge. He wanted to smash that bully in the nose. So the father told him, if you eat your spinach and your sauerkraut, you will be big enough to whip that bully and take your tricycle back. Bam! Problem solved. That kid ate the spinach, the sauerkraut, and the salt mackerel. He would have eaten rocks if it meant he could get what he wanted, a feeling of importance and revenge. This is the eager want. You have to find the bait that suits the fish. So let's tie this all together. You want to walk into a room and own it. You want to be the person who gets the yes. Step 1. Stop the criticism. It is a boomerang that will come back and hit you in the face. Put away the unmailed letter. Swallow the toxicity. Step 2. Feed the hunger. Give honest, sincere appreciation, not flattery. Look for the good and verbalize it. Give people the importance they are starving for, the importance they would go insane to find. Step 3. Bait the hook to suit the fish. Stop talking about what you want. Figure out what they want and show them how doing what you want will help them get it. It sounds simple, but 90% of people ignore this 90% of the time. They push the calf. They criticize the killer. They fish with strawberries, but not you, not anymore. When you go out into the world tomorrow, try it, just for one day. Don't criticize anyone. Find one thing to praise in everyone you meet. And before you ask for anything, ask yourself, why would they want to do this? You will see a change immediately. The resistance will drop. The arguments will vanish. You will find that people are suddenly working with you, not against you. You won't just be winning friends. You will be navigating the ship of business and life with a captain's cap on. And with that, you won't just know how to deal with people. You will be able to turn enemies into allies and roadblocks into freeways. If you found value in this deep dive into human psychology, you are going to want to see how to apply this without saying a single word. Click the video on your screen right now to learn the body language secrets that scream confidence before you even open your mouth. I'll see you there.